The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "There was a rich man who dressed in purple garments and fine linen, and dined sumptuously each day. And lying at his door was a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, who would gladly have eaten his fill of the scraps that fell from the rich man's table. Dogs even used to come and lick his sores. When the poor man died, he was carried away by angels to the bosom of Abraham. The rich man also died and was buried. And from the netherworld, where he was in torment, he raised his eyes and saw Abraham far off, and Lazarus at his side. And he cried out, 'Father Abraham, have pity on me. Send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am suffering torment in these flames.' Abraham replied, 'My child, remember that you received what was good during your lifetime, while Lazarus likewise received what was bad. But now he is comforted here, whereas you are tormented. Moreover, between us and you a great chasm is established, to prevent anyone from crossing, who might wish to go from our side to yours or from your side to ours.' He said, 'Then I beg you, Father, send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, so that he may warn them, lest they too come to this place of torment.' But Abraham replied, 'They have Moses and the prophets. Let them listen to them.' He said, 'Oh no, Father Abraham, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they will repent.' Then Abraham said, 'If they will not listen to Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded if someone should rise from the dead.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus.
Cursed is the man or the one who trusts in human beings. What do we normally do? Throughout our lives is making connections, isn't it? We want to make connections. And we boast of our connections at dinner and talk about, those we had photo opportunity with and everything, And that's what it is. Because if you've got connection, then things will go well for you. And of course, in getting this connection, we invest in connections. We invest time, we invest our resources, we invest our talents in oiling our investments, and keeping the connections alive. So that, someone can remember our first names, right? And be able to say, hey, and that kind of thing. And then we are noticed and named, by name. And so when the Lord speaks to Jeremiah, he says, "Cursed is the one who trusts in human beings." Now, what is the effect? What is the consequences of trusting in human beings? He says, like a barren bush in the desert that enjoys no change of season. That's how the one who trusts in man is. He said, best. So now he places side by side because he wants us to make a choice. But how about the one who trusts in the Lord? Whose hope is in the Lord? He said it's like tree planted beside the waters. Okay? That stretches out its roots to the stream. It fears not the heat when it comes. Its leaves stay green. More tortuous than all is. Okay, so he said, in the year of drought, it shows no distress, but still bears fruit. The one who trusts in the Lord. You see the consequence of the one who trusts in flesh, in human beings. Now, between the rich man and Lazarus, the poor man, the poor man did not go to heaven because he was poor. Let's get it right, okay? Heaven is not a party for poor people. It's a party of places where people have detached from what they have. It's a place where people who have detached from what they have, and what they have may just be time. What they have may just be the good looks. What they have may just be resources of connection and everything to mobilize people. That could just be what they have. The rich man, was connected with his riches, and his connection was so vast. But he was indifferent to the plight of the poor man. He did not even see him. Because the point is, he didn't see him. He didn't see him. Do we have eyes for the poor person? Who is that person who is poor? The one who is poor is not the one who has no dollars. The one who is poor is actually in our midst the one who needs God. The one who needs to be fed with the knowledge of God. That's the poor person. The one who, in all intents and purposes, puts all his trust in human beings. He is poor. He is completely poor. Because when drought comes, what happens to the leaves? It fades. When heat comes, what happens to him? It dries. The rich one puts his trust completely in God. He said, our help is in the Lord who made heaven and earth. That's that poor man. That's why he was called poor. He was poor in the estimation of humanity, but he was totally rich in God. And so that's why angels took him to heaven to be with God. And look at, you see, you can still see the rich man still making negotiations where he is. Huh? And of course, he expects that he's already having, you still have connections. Abraham, calling my child. Say, here you are. You had everything good, but you ignored this one. In fact, they say dogs came to, struggle with him with the whatever fell from the garbage bin. He was struggling with him to eat from him. The situation was so despicable. And so he was negotiating so that Abraham will send some, what do you call those kind of people who will send from that? That's a bigger cheat sheet, There is heaven. That's what he wants to go and say. There is heaven. Because many of us are Christians by name, but practical atheists. We don't believe there is heaven. If there is heaven at all, we probably are not working towards it. Because we are sometimes our own plan, our own God, and nothing changes it. Some plants are rooted, up till the year 2022, 23, like that, plants on. And they are cut in stone. And they seem not to change. Because it looks like, that's my plan. That's what I want to do. Placing trust in human flesh. God holds our lives in His hands and gives us the privilege to be alive today. That's the riches that we must give back to Him. Not tithe. Tithe is 10%, all right? God asks for everything because He gave everything to us. Let us live as practical Christians, not practical atheists who don't even believe in their heart that there is God. Let us invest, and continually invest our time, our treasure, everything in building that place where we're going to be. Our riches adds up to nothing if we do not invest it in building our place in heaven. And the poor today, if we look at it in many ways, the youth, the children who are disconnected from faith, they are our poor. How we should be able to reach them. How we'll be able to stretch our hands so that the generation coming after us will know God and truly trust in Him and hold the riches of heaven dear. That's where we ought to be.